All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the May 9th, 2023 iteration of the Kubernetes SIG-Windows community meeting. As always, these meetings are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so be sure to adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct. We're a little late, so let's get started. First and only announcement is that the 128 enhancements freeze is a couple weeks away. That's June 15th. I think we discussed a bunch of enhancements last week, so don't need to discuss more unless anybody has some updates. Next, we'll give some space if there's any new contributors who want to say hi, introduce themselves, ask some questions, share what they want to get out of this. If you're here, want to, just feel free to raise your hand or talk. I think most people here have been here before. But... All right, we can move on to the agenda. James, did you add this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So last week, I just mentioned it. We got a few reviews and had a little discussion. And I think we're going to add the commit memory to the Windows fields only. And so that means it'll be available via the stat summary if you turn on the cride-only metrics feature. And we'll push to get that into beta so that it's on by default. If you do need this field prior to that time, it is exposed through the Windows exporter, and you could use a CADA scaler and kind of auto scale against that if you are running into problems with this particular metric missing or being reported slightly different. And then, yeah, so I think that's the main thing.
I do notice to here, and this was, I think, the plan, but we should highlight that eventually we hope to have the built-in scalers, HPA and BPA and everything, and metric server expose this. Do we have an issue that we can track multiple, this PR plus the any future ones, especially around the metric server too, James?
No, I don't think we do.
Okay, maybe I'll try and make that today. I think since this is going to span multiple potentially releases, we should maybe have an issue for this.
Okay. And multiple commits and things. So.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much everybody who's commented is in agreement. So yeah, does anybody have any questions with this? Nope. Okay, I think that's all we had. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
I figured I'd catch up with Matt about where things were at over the last couple of weeks. I know there's some PRs on the SIG-Windows DevTools Windows native solution. But that's just some ongoing implementation details that we're working through. So that doesn't need to be an official part of the meeting if folks have other stuff to talk about.
How about the Windows box thing? If this is a part of the larger picture, I was watching the CI triage a few minutes ago, and I noticed that there's end-to-end tests running against Windows. And is the official Windows box used there for those tests, or what's the? And
those tests are not using SIG-Windows DevTools right now. Those tests are using cluster API provider for Azure. They're the cluster provider, kind of all of that code to provision the clusters in Azure. They're still running as prod jobs, but they're just cloud clusters.
Yeah, we can break anything we want. We don't even have versions, Matt.
We
don't have to. If we've got something better, we can do it. The question is, my question is, your concern about image builder and the Kubernetes version is the only thing I'm worried about, because I'm like, well, the whole idea of SIG-Windows DevTools is that we install Kubernetes. So what did you run into that made you worried about that? Or were you just being polite?
No, I've been running the box that was built with the image builder, right? And I noticed simply that Kubernetes on Windows box is old and it doesn't get updated or installed during the Vagrant box, Vagrant machine provisioning.
Oh, we're
And
not even copying the kubelet binary?
yeah, so this is a bit.
That's a problem. But that's an easy bug to fix because that's on our SIG-Windows DevTools side. That's not.
We are copying some stuff, but I mean the versions are reported really. I'm new to this whole ecosystem, and really I'm not sure myself.
I think
What are
probably
the
there's
big
nothing to worry about. I think there's probably nothing to worry about unless you saw something bad.
yeah. It's just
Only
different
because I
versions,
know-
when I run
only 'cause I know
kubectl get nodes, yeah.
Only because I know Arvind was testing the custom builds for a while, and they didn't seem to make him too sad. So,
How are you going to make me sad again? Sorry, I missed that.
I mean, I think we've all done one experiment at one time or other where we swapped out a kube proxy or a kubelet or something in the SIG-Windows DevTools.
Yeah, I constantly do that.
So I think the machinery works fine. And I don't think there's anything to worry about. If you do see something though that really doesn't work, just yell at me, very loudly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but I see what Matt is saying about. I also saw a comment on Slack.
Yeah.
There is image builder that builds a Windows image with a bunch of kubelet and kubeproxy and all those binaries in.
Yeah.
And then we come with SIG-Windows DevTools,
Yeah, it's just
and we sometimes copy over those binaries.
yeah, it's totally useless. I don't even know why we use image builder at this point. All we need is an SSH key. We don't need anything else.
Well, so there are two things, right, Matt, Jay? Sorry, James. I'll just finish this and I'll let you go. This is what we have discussed in the past: is what do we want SIG-Windows DevTools to do? Do we want to start with a blank Windows image? Sorry, folks. I really have bad allergies. That's why I'm coughing all the time. If we are going to start with a blank Windows image, and then we do everything, right? We install Containerd, we install the kubelet, we install kubeproxy, do the whole setup, which is what we are doing in our operator on the Red Hat side. So that's one way of doing it. The thing in SIG-Windows DevTools is we're kind of not here, not there either. We do some stuff in the SIG-Windows inside the image builder, and then SIG-Windows DevTools sort of does something after the fact.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate that we'd love to just do it all dynamically. It's a development tool, right? Like the immutable image has no value to us.
I'm going to let James speak. I know he's been.
Go ahead, James. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the problem with doing it all is it just took so long. So the reason they ended up using the SIG-Windows Dev, like the image builder image, was because it took the build time, like start, git clone, run make was like an hour and a half. And then with the baked image, you cut that down because you don't have to do the reboots, you don't have to do all those installs. And so it was just to get like all the features that you need installed and configured, so you don't have to turn on Hyper-V and reboot the machine because that takes extra time. And so that was the approach. That's why they started using that image. It's not necessarily that the stuff in the image is good. It was just to cut down on having to restart and install Hyper-V and all that stuff. And then the idea was that you didn't copy over the Kubernetes binaries.
Even then we can just build up. We can do whatever we want for our base image, and whether we use image builder or not is like just an implementation detail. You're right.
Yeah, as long as you have all the features that you need. on it.
Yeah.
And then
I mean-
it was just a matter of like, hey, we have this thing that does kind of all the stuff we need. And so I think that's where Amin had initially just grabbed it to start it there.
Yeah. So right now it's convenient. It's convenient because it works. It's not the only way to solve the problem. And it works and it's fast compared to the alternative. Okay.
I mean, is the question whether I know Matt had posted whether we should be doing Packer versus whatever image builder is using. Is that like I think what we should do is we should somehow get to a conclusion about this, right? We seem to be not being able to get to a conclusion about this, and I think that's making is Matt still around? I wonder if you're making his life more difficult.
The thing is, Packer and Ansible is a new animal to me. I don't have
I see.
experience, so whatever. I understand I need to learn stuff to move forward, but I would appreciate if someone tells me go learn this.
I would say
it's.
I would say what you have is fine, and we can use the thing that you're doing that's super valuable is, you're giving us a Windows experience, and like that experience, we can optimize the image later, or we can make it customizable later. So I would say do what's easiest for you as you iterate through it.
Actually, I've just received
right.
lots of answers to my questions. So from James, from Aravind, from you, Jake, I received lots of answers already. So I kind of get a picture. What is the purpose of the SIG-Windows DevTools? How it should work and things like that. Yeah. In my opinion, it should work fast. Building the whole image takes me around 1 hour 50 minutes. So if I want to run actually Kubernetes, the 2-node cluster, I want to run it fast. So I need some base image. The base image doesn't have to have all the components. They can be copied during the machine provisioning, but the base, like, the system, the firewall is off, the WinRM is configured and things like that should be in place in the base image. But then just copying, the binaries and some YAMLs and that,
So okay, cool. That sounds good then. And there's things we can do in the future to make it better, but it's like so are you going to upload a new image to Vagrant Cloud? Do you just want to do that and start using that instead, or do you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my goal. Hopefully, this week I will get it done.
Cool. Okay.
And we need the Windows Server 2022 as well. So I will experiment with the Packer, just like a single tool that builds the base image, and then we don't need the image builder. But I experimented with the image builder to learn a bit more. What should be set up on the base box, on the base image. Anyway, it doesn't, as you say, it doesn't really matter how we build it, as long as it works to build one or two images and upload them to the Vagrant.
If you want, I think I have some examples of workflows that do something similar to what Image Builder does, but just use Packer and PowerShell and not Ansible. That might be, I'll get that to you in Slack.
I have something. I have something similar too. I think I've pointed you at it in the past. I can point you at it again. We build vSphere golden images using Packer, and I did all that work. So if you have Packer questions, you can ask me. I'm not an expert, but
great.
I know enough to break things, I guess.
Yeah, I've done golden images too with Packer only.
I feel your pain, Mark. I struggled. Those unattend.xml and auto, they just make my head spin.
Yep, James also should share in the commiseration.
Yeah, I'm the maintainer of the Windows things in the image builder. So
yeah,
I thought you were going to say I'm the maintainer of that unattend.xml at Microsoft, and I was like, oh my god.
No, no, I stay away from that.
Yeah.
Can we just blame the golden images all on Red Hat, Arvind? Wasn't that a Red Hat invention from the scale testing OpenShift days?
I mean, golden images have been there since forever. It's not something that we came up with. It's been there. That concept has been there for a long time. Like most cloud providers have that concept of.
I think Red Hat made the first ones for Kubernetes, though.
Really?
I think so.
doubt it. For Windows?
I mean, Amazon didn't make one. EKS didn't come out until 2 years after OpenShift.
We've had them for AKS Engine for like Windows for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think we can claim that we were the first. In fact, our golden image has nothing Kubernetes related in it. It's a clean image with all the prerequisites needed for running Kubernetes. And then our operator does all the setup and installation. It's mainly because we need to support multiple clouds, not just one cloud. So we can't go with, a proper golden image with everything pre-installed.
Yeah. I feel like if we went back in history, we would see that Red Hat made most of the golden image tooling in Kubernetes, but you're right. That's not the same as inventing the golden image. But yeah. Okay. So, I don't really have anything else.
Anybody else? Otherwise, we can end the meeting a little bit early.
I don't have anything. I mean, I'll press on with the Packer and trying to eliminate the Ansible from the picture. And if I have any questions, I'll just reach to Mark and Aravind, and let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So you're definitely going to at least try to eliminate Image Builder if you can. Okay.
Not. I mean, I would be happy to use Image Builder, but the Ansible is a bit because Ansible. When I run things on the Windows host, then I need to run from WSL just to make Ansible, running. But VirtualBox is on the Windows host, not on WSL. So I had to apply some hard-coded IP addresses to let the Packer running and Ansible running on WSL connect to VirtualBox on my host.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any idea how to what kind of patch to submit to Image Builder to make it kind of generic, usable outside my own system, local system. So this is like I applied very specific patches with IP addresses hardwired and things. So if the Ansible can go, yeah.
I think we can make it a much simpler workflow if you're just trying to get a Vagrant box built and
I think the problem here is Matthias is trying to do everything on Windows, and that's where the trouble is happening. Is when you try to do Image Builder on Windows,
I've just got this. I've just got this to get a Linux on it, and I will have an environment because I only have 2 workstations, and all of them are Windows because I build software for Windows. So
what's wrong with just building an image one time, pushing it to Vagrant Cloud, and just being done with it? I mean, I love that you're solving this problem, but I'm just wondering why you're punishing.
Because I want to build image. I want to be able to build image like every 2 weeks or every month with all the updates, and
with
like
all the Windows
2019.
updates.
Yeah. 2019, 2022, and I'm thinking long term a bit here. Perhaps not unnecessarily, but.
I think he has a good point, Jay, because we ran into the same thing. We found that if our golden image creation steps are not well documented and reproducible, it becomes a problem. Everybody is trying to solve the same problems they ran into over and over again. So that's why if you look at our repo, you'll find the golden image steps are very detailed and very organized, so that anybody can go look at those steps and say, this is how I build a golden image for, vSphere,
Yeah.
which is the only platform we're building golden images for. So I'm very happy Matthias is trying to do what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
It'll actually be very useful for us, because the first time we run into like, oh man, we need to rebuild this image, is when we'll run into trouble if we do not know how to do this easily. Because that's the trouble I ran into when I was like, oh, let me try and rebuild this image, and I just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever. We used to use Stefan Schirer's Vagrant image, and we didn't know how to read
Yep.
And it took
Amin
us
knows
like-
how to do this. Amin
Yeah,
is the only one I think who knows how to do this. Yeah.
We couldn't even pronounce his name, except that luckily Friedrich was from Germany, so he could pronounce Stefan Schirer properly.
Yeah.
And then
I started a new thread in Slack and Matthias and put that in there.
yeah,
Okay, great. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
can
if
jump in a car and cross
Oh,
the
okay.
German border and reach the Stefan.
Stefan, he was the
Ask for
original-
help.
yeah, he was the first person's Windows image that we stole. Okay, great. Yeah, totally. I mean, anything that makes things better is great. I just didn't want you to feel like pressure to solve this and the other huge problem that you're solving, because the other huge problem that you're solving is like such a huge problem that I'm just amazed that you can solve both of them at the same time. At the same time, but that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather solve like one important problem before I move to second important problem that is based on the previous solution.
You're gonna get the
I
image thing
kind
cleaned
of-
up.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll be around Thursday morning, Matt, if you want to sync back up.
Okay.
There's no outstanding PRs or anything that we need to merge to that development branch.
Mhm. The versions banned, but I made a comment. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get it in.
The version bump. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Cool.
not my PR, it's someone else, but yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll look at that now, and then
The Calico and Felix part is maybe important, because I also found some Felix problems and failures when I was testing the Windows node, and perhaps this is a solution actually.
yeah, there's an issue with Felix coming up, and I'm wondering whether the way we configure VXLAN changed when we upgraded Calico to host. Something about host process containers not working. We upgraded Calico, and the host process container runs, but it doesn't set up the routes properly. I don't know if anybody's.
I thought there was a thread in Slack about that, or an issue that I was commenting on. But
Yeah.
I've got a drop for SIG node though, so I think
Yeah, I need to drop you folks.
yeah.
See
All
you
right,
on
we'll
Slack, folks.
continue.
Bye.
I think we're good. We can close out. All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.